I'm Juliet St. John. My home base is Costa Rica. I've been with YTB a little over 3 years now, and it has really drastically changed my life.
Juliet's my first child out of 7, and when she grew up, she was by far my most difficult. She was very wild as she grew up, but once she had 2 children, she settled down, and she is an amazingly generous person.
3 years ago, before I joined YTB, I was working full-time, working hard like I always have, but there just wasn't enough money to make ends meet.
We didn't have anything, we didn't have the money to pay the bills, and so we've gone through some really hard times, but my mother's always tried, no matter what, to be able to give us what we wanted, and has always felt very bad if she hasn't been able to help me with my horses or help Max with his hockey or his school.
It's quite hard these days for an independent woman to make it so far, raising 2 children on her own. She's really fought it out.
My son was in a special needs school. He had some learning disabilities. He didn't speak English. My daughter was in college, and there just wasn't enough money left over for me to have a place to live. So in order to keep my kids in school, I slept for about a year in my car. Can probably still tell you most of the rest areas across America because I've slept in them.
I would say it was passion to help her children and make them have a great life.
A friend of mine told me about YTB, how I could make a ton of money in a short amount of time. Really wasn't interested in working with a company and making a lot of money. I didn't want to join a network marketing company, but he told me if nothing else I should join just for the money I could save in my current travel.
She did do 1 or 2 other businesses first, which were fairly successful, but then they didn't last long. So she was really pleased to get into YTB and have a steady income.
The first training that Scott and Coach Tomer did, sat through that day of training. At the end of the day, decided that even if 1/10 of what they were saying was true, it would be game over for me. I wouldn't have to worry about money ever again. My daughter has a dream of going to the Olympics. She has a talent for show jumping. She has a talent with horses.
What anyone puts this much work into is they'd like to be able someday to go to the Olympics or ride for the team, for their country. When I went to university, I had to stop riding. The choice was we had enough money to go to university or enough money for me to have a horse and train and ride a horse. So I stopped riding for 3 years, and then Mom started in YTB, started making money, and we were again able to start buying horses and afford for me to be able to train them.
Because of the money I've earned with YTB, I've been able to buy her a couple of horses. She's back training 2 young horses now, and she's got her dreams back again, the one she gave up. I love my mom a lot. She's always been there for me. When she was 64, she had a stroke. She was still working after raising 8 kids. 66, she had a second stroke, and I told her she had to really quit or she wasn't going to stay around, and she said she couldn't afford it.
Well, Juliet has really changed my life with her success because she is now giving us an income every month. So I have been able to retire from my business, which was very exhausting, and it's also enabled us to stay in our house here.
After I earned my first $10,000 bonus with YTB, I flew up and gave my mom a check for $10,000. And she couldn't believe it. Kept saying, "What have I done to deserve this, dear?" And I just said, "Mom, it's a small down payment on what I owe you."
She is just so kind and generous to us. Really all to do with YTB, because before that she wasn't able to help us. Before that she was living in extreme poverty herself, but she's been wonderful to us.
very happy in my life. Everything is good. Really realized a lot of my dreams. I've been able to retire my mom, been able to pay off all the bills, been able to pay the college bills, being able to help my daughter possibly make it to the Olympics and win a gold medal. I mean, everything I've always wanted to do for my family, I can do.
She's had some tough times previously where she didn't have the money to be able to see some of the places where she has now. Now that she has a little more money, she's able to take some trips herself and just kind of relax on her own time, even without us, me and my sister fighting all the time. So it's very nice for her.
To see her on TV and the conferences and the trainings, and I've been to conferences with her and have had people come up afterwards saying, you don't know how much your mother's inspired us, how hard she's made us try, her story and her struggles and how they've changed our lives. So for me, it makes me so proud to hear people say that about my mother.
I think there's a lot of people who are maybe in the same situation I was, who need help, who need a plan B, who need a way out of the place they're stuck in. That's probably what it's about more than anything for me now.